Hello, everybody, and welcome to a highlight reel original production. This is the Behind the Numbers April edition. So sit back, relax, enjoy the content. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a highlight reel original production. This is the Behind the Numbers series April edition. So every month we break down the important stuff in relation to the Fitbit and we assess how we've done over the month, how results have gone, and what we're looking for and what we've achieved and all those kind of good things. The aim of this really is to just try and put my message across to show people what I'm kind of putting out there in relation to steps, in relation to calories in relation to water intake, active time, all those kind of things, to see if it can help. Basically, if people can kind of see my blueprint and think, well, Aaron's getting results and this is how he's doing it, then maybe it could be something that may be used by others to achieve their results and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and we'll get started straight away into the first category. Okay, so the first area that we're going to look at is, of course, the most important, the big one, and that is steps for April. We'll break this down weekly and with a quick breakdown of daily totals, what we've managed to achieve throughout each week, and see how we've done for April. The 1st of April was a Sunday, so it's going from the 2nd of April for these numbers. So the week commencing the 2nd of April, for that week we managed 43,546 steps. That's very low, but as you will have known from watching the 365 project and previous Behind the Numbers videos, that I was rehabbing a knee injury for a couple of weeks, and this week was one of those weeks. The breakdown of the steps per day were 2,500 on the Monday, 8,600 Tuesday, 3,800 Wednesday, 13,500 on the Thursday, and that's beating my 11,000 daily step target. So I managed to beat my target for that one day during the week. Friday 6,400, Saturday 3,200, Sunday 5,200, which is 43,546 steps in total. Again, I was on the tail end of a bit of rehabilitation for a knee injury, so I wasn't really pushing anything other than that Thursday. I must have been busy and had to do things and had to go out and do whatever. So that one day out of the week I hit target, but I wasn't in any way bothered, just due to the fact that the knee injury was keeping me on the shelf and I had to rest up. So you have to rest when you hurt. You can't push yourself. I tried to do it for a week. It just made it 100 times worse. So not ideal, but that's how we started for the first week. Second week of April, from the 9th to the 15th, we had 74,476 steps. So that is an increase on the previous week, and we'll run through the numbers and I'll explain why. Monday was 9,600 steps, Tuesday 8,047, Wednesday 5,200, Thursday 9,800, Friday 13,300, Saturday 16,700, and Sunday 11,600 steps. So as you can see, them last 3 days of that week were all above target, and yeah, the reason for this was I was feeling good, I was feeling better. The pain in the leg and the knee wasn't really there as much. So I took it upon myself to try and see if I can at least hit my 11,000 for those 3 days, with the view that going forward from the following week we would be back on it, hopefully, as long as there was no recurrence of any pain or any injuries. And there wasn't really. Those 3 days were fine. Them step totals were all above target and there was no issues with them really. So 74,476. It's not where we usually are, but it was nearly double what we were doing the previous week, so that's an improvement in that respect. The week commencing 16th of April to the 22nd, we've had a change around in our fortunes, and every day this week we have exceeded the target. Pretty much the case is that we were back on it now full time. The injury had passed, the pain wasn't there anymore, and we managed to do 141,731 steps. Now, that total was a personal best for my 7 day cumulative steps. The Monday to the Friday was also a personal best for work week hustle. It was the weekend that I didn't beat my weekend warrior target, but we got 18,600 steps on Monday, 17,000 on Tuesday, 28,700 on Wednesday. That's over double my daily target. 19,000 on the Thursday, 23,800 on the Friday, which is again double my daily target. 17,100, 17,100 for Saturday and Sunday. I really wanted to get back into it as hard as possible with being out of action for a neck end of a month, 3 to 4 weeks. And there was no reoccurrence of the injury of the leg, so I basically went for it. And as you can see, 141,731 steps is a record. So we had a record-breaking week for the third week of April. Outstanding. I don't know what else you can do, especially with, sort of being in that position where you weren't doing anything, to then go back at it as hard as you can was splendid, to be honest. So it's the only way I can say it. It was difficult, but it was very much rewarding in the fact that I felt mentally back in a position where I can do things that I needed to do and basically achieve what I wanted to achieve. And well, the final week is a continuation of this, the final week of April, from the 23rd up until the 29th, which was a Sunday. We've got 151,483 steps. So that's again breaking my 7 day personal best for a work week hustle / weekend warrior. The previous week was 141,000. This week was 151,483. So I've exceeded that by another 10,000 steps. The breakdown of this was 25,300 on Monday, 20,000 on Tuesday, 22,000 on Wednesday, 24,600 on Thursday, 17,500 on Friday, 22,600 on Saturday, and 19,100 on the Sunday. All of them days barring the Sunday, which was just under 20,000, and the Friday, which was 17.5. Every other day that week exceeded 20,000 steps, which was again intentional. I wasn't so much wanting to beat the previous week, but I thought, well, I know what kind of numbers I was putting out for that week. So in fairness, I just thought if I can at least get around those figures and then a little bit more on top each day, then basically we would hit that again and potentially break it. And as you did see, we broke it by 10,000 steps. So that was excellent for me. That was just confirmation that I needed, that I could go back at it full time. And yeah, we've broke the personal best for weekend warrior and 7 day cumulative step total for the second week in a row. So I don't know what else you can do or what else you can say about that, really. It's just hard work and determination to get back into the groove and get the weight going back down, because that was ultimately where we wanted to be. I think we achieved that overwhelmingly with these last 2 weeks. Obviously, the first 2 weeks we were on the shelf, poorly. But these last 2 weeks I've went at it as hard as I possibly can, and the results are there for all to see. Okay, so we've done steps, and now the next area to look at is weight loss, which should really go hand in hand, but as we'll see with the numbers, this month's weight loss has been somewhat erratic compared to previous months where it's just been loss after loss after loss after loss. It was a bit up and down, so we'll look at that. The first weigh-in, which was on the 2nd of April, that first week of April, We had a weigh-in of 16 stone and 4 pounds. So that compared to the previous weigh-in for the last week of March. The last week of March, our weigh-in was 15 stone 12. So well, yeah, that's quite a lot. that's quite a lot of a gain. We were just under the 16 stone mark, and I was over the moon because that was my major sort of next major milestone, was hitting 16 and getting under 16. But for that first week of April, we were 16 stone and 4 pounds, and that's a gain. It's like a £6 gain. Doesn't seem right, but hey, you've got to trust the scales, otherwise all the numbers mean nothing, right? So moving into the second week, we have a weigh day figure, of 16 stone 1 pound. So that was a loss from the previous week of £3, and it again brought me very close to the 16 stone threshold that I just went over. Mentally, I just wanted to get under that 16. As long as I could see the first number was 15 on stone, I was happy. I didn't really, I didn't really have any qualms with any of that. But we got it down. We got it down to 16 stone and 1 pound. So happy days there. The following weigh-in we have was on the 16th of April, and that was 16 stone and 2 pounds. So that was a 1 pound gain from the last week's weigh-in. Again, this is kind of coinciding with not being as active, I believe, and eating more. Calories in's definitely had a factor in that, and yeah, it was an increase of £1 for that one there, which we didn't have many ups, to be fair. We didn't have that many gains of weight, especially over the start of the year and for the summer previous. So any gains a bit can be disheartening unless you go out and start doing record breaking step numbers, which is what we've kind of done. But the next weigh-in, which was on the 23rd of the 4th, we had 16 stone and 3 pounds, so it was again another pound gain. As you can see, it's kind of going in the wrong direction from where I want it to go. I was hoping, because I was that close to the 16 stone threshold, that I could just manage to sneak over it again. I didn't do enough during that week, and yeah, it was a gain. Back up to 16 stone 3 pounds. And then, have we got one for, what was today? No, yesterday. Today's the 1st, so okay, yeah, that's fine. So the final weigh-in, which was yesterday as of recording, we had 16 stone and 1 pound, so that was a loss again. That was the end of the second week of record breaking step numbers as well, so I was a bit surprised to see it go up after not breaking my personal best for Weekend Warrior and 7-day cumulative step total. But when I did it again and I put the effort in again, I managed to get another loss, and we're just above 16 stone with 16 stone and 1 pound. So yeah, it's not really been much of a loss for this month compared to previous months. If anything, it's been overall a gain, because I started the month on 15 stone 12 and then I finished the month on 16 stone 1. So I knew this was going to happen eventually, in that the weight loss was going to be a little bit harder to come off. Maybe you need to have a bit more work rate, do a bit more sort of exercise, that kind of thing, to keep that loss going. It did coincide with, as I say, kind of being on the shelf, so I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt. If after the next couple of weeks, especially coming into May now, and having the ability to do that sustained output, if it doesn't continue to go down at the rate it was going down previously, then we may have to invoke some kind of additional workouts to get that weight going back in the right direction, because my next target is 15 stone. That's only because I broke 16 stone already. We've just crept back over it. So interim it's 16, but major is 15 stone. I feel we'll get there. It's just a bit of adjustment needed, because of obviously having that time off and now potentially getting this job thing back on the go. So my time's going to be split out a bit more. There will be a slight adjustment period, but I do feel that with a bit of, willpower and determination, we'll get where we want to be. Right, so we've done weight loss, or gain as it may have been. Now we're going to look at calories in, which is important. You've got to obviously try and control that and make sure you're monitoring these kind of numbers of what you're eating and what you're logging for your food and stuff, because you can do it all through the app or through other apps. And my target, so to speak, of where I wanted to be was an average of 1,800 calories for the week and obviously for the day. That's how you kind of work out averages. Looking at this first week of April then, commencing on the 2nd, our average for that week of calories in was 2,198, which is higher than what I wanted it to be. But I'm not going to lie, I think while I've had this little bit of downtime, I've had to kind of figure out stuff to do with my time, and I think the majority of that was kind of eating more. I feel it was a side effect of not being able to go out for like 2-3 hours on a night. I just had no drive to want to be as strict with what I was eating, I suppose. I don't know, I was in a bit of a bad place mentally, so I kind of let things slip, so to speak, a little. But we had 1,860 for Monday, 1,880 for Tuesday, 2,600 for Wednesday, 970 on Thursday, 1,900 on Friday, 2,200 Saturday, 3,800 on the Sunday. So a lot of them days were well over the 1,800 for my target and even the 2,500 for your recommended daily intake of stuff. So it was a slight increase, and I feel that this has had a contributing factor to the fact that the weight loss for this particular month was very up and down. Moving on to the second week, commencing the 9th to the 15th, we had 2,370 as a calorie average. It's about 170 more than the previous week, and it seems justified based off the numbers for these days. Monday was 2,800, Tuesday 1,500, Wednesday 2,700, Thursday 1,800, Friday 2,000, Saturday 2,700, Friday 2,600. So as you can see, the amount of food going into the mouth has definitely increased on average for that week and for most of them days. There were a couple of days where I was on target or below, but the remainder of those days of that week were in fact higher. So maybe it's starting to paint a picture as to what's been going on the scales. The following week, the third week of April, commencing the 16th, we had 2,135 calories on average for that week. So that's down from the previous week, which is good. It's going in the right direction. Monday was 1,600, Tuesday was 2,600, Wednesday 2,300, Thursday 1,900, Friday 620, Saturday 2,600, and Sunday 890. Two of those days were a little low. I say a little low, very low. But it kind of counterbalanced a few of them high days, and meant that overall it was a slight reduction on the previous week. So it's good. It's good that it's sort of going back down again, but it could be down a little bit more, if you know what I mean. And the final week, which is the 23rd, up until Sunday. Till Sunday. We had 2,625, so that's gone up again. And that breaks down to 1,900 on the Monday, 2,600 on the Tuesday, 1,600 Wednesday, 1,400 Thursday, 2,500 Friday, 2,900 Saturday, 2,500 Sunday. It's been tough. I won't lie, it has been tough to get maintaining that. It's the routine of things, really. I mean, when I was at work prior to at Capita, prior to now, I was taking stuff into work for having for my lunch, and I was having breakfast. I was having sort of two of my three main meals before I got home, and it was easy really. You could just do what you needed to do your work, come home. Then once you made your tea, that was it. Like you're eating what you needed to eat for the day. We're not having the structure of work, or at least for the last month and a half. It hasn't worked out the same. So yeah, it's kind of increased. I didn't really want it to, but it's not about what I want, it's about what I do, isn't it? So overall, that has gone higher than I wanted it to, but it's kind of counterbalanced with them last 2 weeks as well of record breaking steps, which if we keep up the record breaking steps and can kind of get back to regular levels of what the calorie intake is, I've got no doubt in my mind that them £2 losses will become £4 losses, you know what I mean? And then we hit that 15 stone a lot quicker than we are currently, and then we get 2 thumbs up from me if we can get that over the line. Okay, so calories in have been covered. We'll now cover calories out, which is also important because that kind of goes hand in hand, really. If you've calories burnt are more than your calories in, and you're in a calorie deficit, then weight loss should follow. Should follow. That's the theory. So for the first week of April, from the 2nd to the 8th, we had a calorie burn figure of 24,109. It was only 3 days of that week where I hit my target, but again, this was the tail end of being sort of couch bound for a number of weeks. Monday was 2,600, Tuesday 3,200, Wednesday 3,000, Thursday 3,700, Friday 3,900, Saturday 3,000, Sunday 4,300. The Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, I exceeded my target for calorie burn on those days. Not ideal, but I suppose the more you can kind of do if you're kind of not doing the step and doing the walking, the more kind of days you can get like that, the better. The second week, going from the 9th to the 15th, we had 24,889 calories burnt, which is a 700 calories increase from the previous week. Monday was 4,000 calories, Tuesday was 3,000, Wednesday was also 3,000, Thursday 3,300, Friday 4,100, Saturday 3,800, Sunday 3,400. Again, there was 3 days of that week where I hit my target, which was the Monday, Friday and Saturday, and it is a slight increase from the previous week. This coincides with, as I say, now having that extra momentum and wanted to see if the knee was holding up and if I could get back on it. And this is reflected in week 3. So from the 16th to the 22nd, we had a calorie burn figure of 31,058. So that's 7,000-ish, 6,500, 7,000 calories more burn for that week than the previous week. Every day I hit my target. Nice. That's what we want to see. Green stars. Monday was 4,300, as was Tuesday. Wednesday 5,500, which I think coincides with a massive step day on that day for that week, if I remember. Thursday 4,400, Friday 4,300, Saturday 4,000 exactly, Sunday 3,800. So over target on every day that week. The stepping had commenced again, and I had hit it pretty hard. So that was a massive increase, massive jump. Although for that week, at the end of that week, the weigh day was again, so I think I was just readjusting my body to get back into that burn sort of frame of mind, even though it's your body. Getting that exercise going again on the regular, getting the calories burnt more. It's where I want to be anyway, definitely hitting those things every day. And the final week of this month was from the 23rd, and the calories burnt figure was 32,349. So again, it was a 1,200 increase from the previous week, and It breaks down as 4,500 on the Monday, 4,200 Tuesday, 4,100 Wednesday, 5,000 on Thursday, 5,600 Friday, 4,700 Saturday, and 4,000 on the Sunday. Again, 7-day hitting that target, so big thumbs up for that. And yeah, after this week of again another record breaking step output week, we did end up losing on the scales yesterday, so we're getting that back in the right direction. Happy days, everybody. Happy days. It's important to try and hit your calories out because the only way you're doing that is by being active. So it goes hand in hand with what you want to achieve. If you want to start losing weight, you're going to have to make sure that your calorie burn is more than your calories in, and all the rest of the good stuff that goes along with it. It's important to make sure that that balance is in place, and I start to see the results after getting back on it, increasing the step output, increasing the active time. The results are going in the right direction again, so I can't argue. Can't argue. Right, so calories out is covered now. The next topic is water intake. Very important again. Got to make sure that you're hydrated, obviously, when you're out doing your activities, be it walking, running, cycling, whatever it may be. Hydration is very important, and I've got a limit of 2,500 millilitres a day. No, sorry, I don't have a limit of 2,000 millilitres a day. And in April, first week of April, the average for the week from the 2nd to the 8th was 1,785. So there were a couple of days on there where I didn't actually hit target. Monday was 2,000 millilitres, as was Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday was 1,500. Friday was 2,000, and Saturday and Sunday were 1,500 each. So not ideal. I wasn't drinking as much then as I have been, and yeah, it was unwanted. It is, as I say, important. It just flushes everything out of your body, and it's important for keeping you hydrated, make sure you don't get headaches, all that kind of stuff. That in itself should just be a reason enough to want to make sure you drink more. But yeah, it was slightly under where I wanted to be. So going on to the second week, we have an average of 1,928. That was week commencing the 9th to the 15th. Monday was 2,000 millilitres, Tuesday was 1,000, Wednesday was 2,000, Thursday 1,500, Friday 2,000, Saturday and Sunday 2,500 each. So yeah, that was an increase from the last weekend by a litre each day. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot. Drink a litre of water. It's two 500 millilitre bottles. Two of these. But going up in the right direction is where we want to be, definitely. 1,700 for the previous week was too low, I think. I wasn't really happy with that. We definitely want to be at least 2,000 or above. Which brings us on to the third week. So, week commencing 16th to the 22nd of April. The average intake of water was 2,214 millilitres, so I'm over the 2,000 mark quite comfortably there, and yeah, a couple hundred millilitres more than the previous week. So Monday and Tuesday were 2,000 millilitres each, Wednesday was 3,000, so a nice day there. Thursday, Friday was 2,000 millilitres, Saturday was 2,500, and Sunday was 2,000. Meaning that overall I was higher water intake than the previous week. This coincided with me walking again, I believe, because I wasn't drinking as much when I was just in the house doing nothing. But because I was out and about, and actually the weather was really nice, so I think that was definitely a factor in how I was drinking more water. And the final week, from the 23rd of April, we had average of 2,428 millilitres. So again, that's increased from the previous week, and if you can get anywhere near that kind of figure, I mean, you're absolutely laughing. You're above your target on average. It's all good. Monday was 2,000 millilitres, Tuesday 2,500, Wednesday was 2,000, Thursday 2,250, Friday was 3,500, so that's nearly double what I was doing before. Insane, that's unheard of. Saturday 2,500 and Sunday 2,250. So yeah, it's going back up again. This was all coinciding with not doing the walking because again I was off. Well, I was just on the shelf basically and wasn't drinking as much. Didn't have the motivation. Wasn't right upstairs. Didn't have the drive to want to try and keep things going. And as far as I was concerned, I was on the shelf indefinitely. It was 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks. I didn't know how long it was going to be. So I was kind of anticipating everything going back up weight wise and going down sort of stepwise and water intake. But we've managed to turn the corner for these last 2 weeks of April. Water is important. Make sure you're drinking it. And yeah, 2,428 for that final week on average. I think I'm going to be able to keep that going. Definitely. I've got plenty of bottles that I fill up on a daily basis and get them drank. So yeah, we'll make sure we're keeping on top of that going into May. Right, so the next topic we look at is active time. And active time is when your tracker basically can sense that you're doing something, walking around, running around, cycling, swimming, whatever it may be, and basically tracks it and says, out of this day, you've been active 30 minutes, 100 minutes, whatever it may be. And yeah, we can run over what we did for April. The first 2 weeks not being ideal, but the last 2 weeks are much more like it. Commencing the 2nd of April to the 8th, our active time for this week was 539 minutes. Sounds like a lot when you think about it, but breaking it down day by day, we had 11 minutes on the Monday. 11 minutes. 66 minutes Tuesday, 38 minutes Wednesday, 118 minutes Thursday, 122 minutes Friday, 22 minutes Saturday, and 162 minutes on Sunday. 4 days out of that week, I hit target for active time, which I believe is an hour. Yep, is an hour, 60 minutes. It can auto detect you when you're sort of moving about. So even if you just say, I don't know, walking to go to the shops somewhere and it's like a 15-minute walk, I think it'll automatically pick that up. So it's not so much that I was going out specifically walking for these days like how I normally would, but it's just what it picks up if you're actually moving about, being active. 539 minutes for that week. Week 2, commencing the 9th of April, we had an increase on our well, it's not an average, this is actual time, an increase, 664 minutes for that week. Increases is good. The more time you spend active, the more chances you are of getting your burn in and getting your weight down and all that stuff. Monday was 102 minutes. Tuesday and Wednesday 36 minutes each. Thursday 89 minutes. Friday 157 minutes. Saturday 150 minutes. Sunday 94 minutes. Only them 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, where I had 36 minutes, did I not hit target. So there was 5 days out of 7 that we exceeded our hours worth of active time. And it was, let's have a look, 130 minutes. So what's that? Just over 2 hours extra active time for that week. So definitely going in the right direction. Definitely. The 3rd week of April, commencing the 16th. Massive increase here. As I say, this was when we got back on it. And that was 1,404 minutes of active time. So it's more than double the previous week. Good stuff. The Monday was 172 minutes. Tuesday 204 minutes. Wednesday 299 minutes. I'm sure that was the 28,000 step day or whatever it is I put out. 299 minutes of active time. Unbelievable. 193 minutes Thursday. Friday 215 minutes. Saturday 144 minutes. Sunday 177 minutes. Every day that week we hit target. 7 green stars there, and it looks as though we were back on it full time. You know, we were no excuses that we weren't in any kind of pain anymore. So we managed to hit it pretty hard, in fairness. This was also the first record-breaking week of work week hustle and 7-day cumulative step totals, so that also will be reflective of the active time. The final week of April, which we also broke our PBs again from that week, was 1,573 minutes of active time. Starting on the 23rd, we had 214 minutes on the Monday, 180 minutes Tuesday, 187 minutes Wednesday, 206 minutes Thursday, 391 minutes Friday. Wow. That blew that 299 from last week well out of the water. 228 minutes Saturday and 167 minutes on the Sunday. 1,573 total for that week, which brought us back on the weight loss trail for yesterday for the weigh-in. The more active you are, the more activity you're doing, be it walking, as I say, cycling, whatever you're doing, running, whatever it is, that's all going to count. It's all going to add up, chipping away a little bit by bit by bit. You've got a massive chunk of active time. You're going to see results. You're going to see results, as I did for this week, but as I said, kind of touched on the calories in. I feel I didn't maximise my potential loss return, A, because of being injured, and B, because I was filling my face. So I was. But no, we're back into the zone kind of area where we want to be. If we're hitting those kind of numbers, we're very close to breaking records every week. So it's a bar to set yourself, it's somewhere to aim for. If you can get towards those kind of numbers, then you won't go far wrong. Okay, so the final area we will look at is mileage, distance covered basically. How many miles have you managed to cover over these weeks and days, and ultimately the whole month? So yeah, start of April, first week of April, 2nd of April onwards, which was in the rehab week, we had 17.17 miles, so not very many. It was an increase from the last week of March, which was 9.31, but again, as I say, we were rehabilitating. The breakdown is Monday was 0.92 miles. I barely moved that day. Barely moved. 3.56 miles Tuesday, 1.14 miles Wednesday, 5.7 miles Thursday, 2.3 miles Friday, 1.2 miles Sunday, 2 miles on the Saturday, 2 miles on the Sunday. 17.17 miles total. It's not enough, not if you want to be keeping and maintaining sustained weight loss like I have been. It's just the circumstances I found myself in. I couldn't really do what I wanted to, so it all took a hit. All the numbers took a hit. I really didn't want this. When I realised I was going to be off doing it for a little while, I just thought it's going to knock all the numbers out of whack. Everything. I'm just going to go back. I made so much progress, and then I'm going to go back. So I wasn't in the best of places mentally. But the second week, we have an increase from 17 miles to 30.93 miles, which breaks down 4 miles on the Monday, 3.2 miles on the Tuesday, 2 miles Wednesday, 4 miles Thursday, 5.5 miles Friday, 7 miles Sunday, Saturday, 4.8 miles on the Sunday. So yeah, almost doubled from the previous week, and I was just coming out of the rehab phase for the weekend, so the Friday, Saturday and Sunday were the days where I was trying to get back on it again, trying to get the walking thing done. And you can see that those 3 days there, 5.5, 7 and 4.8 miles, were all above all of the previous days of that week, so that had a big part to play. Moving on to week 3, we have the record-breaking first week of personal bests for work week hustles and 7-day cumulative. It's really difficult to say that over and over again. But for the week commencing 16th of April, we got 7.9 miles Tuesday was the 7.09 miles. Wednesday 12.43 miles. Thursday 8 miles. Friday 10.3 miles. Saturday 7.2 miles. Sunday 7.3, with a total of 60.5 miles. It's definitely where you want to be in the miles covered category, as high as possible. The more miles you've covered, the more activity you've done, the more steps you've done, the bigger the calorie burn. So, they all kind of interlink now, all of these things, which is good. And like I say, it was a record breaking week. We were back on it full time. We were back in the right frame of mind. We felt good physically, mentally, everything was good. Really was good. I can't emphasize how much it was. Watch the 365 project videos, you'll see I look like a different person. And then the last week of April, commencing the 23rd, we had miles covered 64.8. So again, it was higher than the previous week, and that was because it was another record breaking week for work week hustles and 7-day cumulative step totals. Got it right this time. The Monday of that week was 10.9 miles. Tuesday 8.5. Wednesday 9.4 miles. Thursday 10.4. Friday 7.4. Saturday 9.7. Sunday 8.2 miles. Friday was the lowest day that week. With that week, I was just trying to hit 20,000 plus steps every day. That was the plan. And my thinking was, by the time I got to Friday, that should be 100,000 steps minimum, and the PB at the time was 107. So if I could get like 22 a day, I'd beat it by a couple of thousand. As it happens, by the time I got to Friday, I was within about 9,000, I think it was, of hitting that. And yeah, 9,000 steps that was, of hitting that. And my daily target's 11, and I'd been hitting 20 plus every day before, so it was nice to just have a relaxed day on that day. And then yeah, once we'd done that, we realised that the 7-day total was within reach. So if we could have a hard weekend, we could do it. And pleased to report, we did do it. We beat 5-day Monday to Friday work week hustle total from the previous week, and also then the 7-day cumulative total. It actually got beat by about 10,000 steps. So you can't argue. You can't argue once you're back in the old routine. It's just habit. You just go and you do these things, and then you just reap the rewards at the end of it. So yeah, overall, happy with the way that the end of the month went, especially for the miles covered, because the first 2 weeks I wasn't doing anything, but the second 2 weeks I more than made up for it, being a record breaking fortnight of numbers. You can't ask for more than that, people. You really can't. Okay, so that wraps it up. That wraps up the April Behind the Numbers series. I hope that you're finding this information helpful and interesting, and it's potentially going to be used to influence your decisions on what you decide, how you want to achieve your goals. Everybody's different, you can't get away from that fact. People are different, size, weight, all that kind of stuff. But it's just like a blueprint. It's just, if you can get anywhere near these kind of figures, and also feel free to review the previous Behind the Numbers series, because I was having the majority of my success there, especially for starting from January. It's been sensational. I cannot fault it, really. Then use it. Do what I do, or take aspects of what I do. Maybe you might have a target for something that I have a target of, and you might tweak yours just to try and see if you can incorporate some of that stuff. It's all good. There's absolutely no issues with me. If you're going to come to me, for example, and say, Aaron, I've just done 60 miles this week, and I've lost 5 pounds when I've got weighed the next day, you know what I mean? That's a plus. So you can't go wrong with it. I hope you do find these kind of things useful, and I just like it. I like this series because it's a good way of reviewing what you've done for the previous weeks, but then also kind of being able to evaluate where you are overall and where you're going and what you're going to do to get there, so to speak. And now that I'm back in the rhythm of it, the only thing that I'm more concerned about now is my potential reintegration into the work life. because at the moment I've been off work, so I've had the time to kind of do these things and make sure that all these kind of things get covered. But I was working before, so I'm not too concerned. It's just going to be a change to the pattern of how things are going at current. So in that respect, May could be a little bit dodgy, but we're going to have the right positive attitude. We're just over 16 stone now, and if we can get anywhere near 15 stone by the time this next video comes out for May, then I'm as far as I'm concerned, that's mission accomplished. The weather's getting better. I imagine a lot more people are going to want to get involved and do stuff. So yeah, feel free, review the videos and let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below, wherever that may be on your screen. I can't see the screen, so I didn't know if I was pointing in the right place. But yeah, thanks again for watching. I appreciate the support that people have been giving me on my YouTube journey with the channel, and it's going well. I'm liking where we are. I'm liking what we're doing. I'm liking what we're putting out. As I say, the support from people is second to none, and we have got a 100 subscriber challenge on the horizon, as we're on 76 subscribers at present. So if you know people that might be interested in this kind of thing, feel free to share the content to them and like the content, and if you can persuade them to hit the subscribe button, if you've liked what you've seen and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Check out the rest of the content on the channel, and we will see you for next month's Behind the Numbers video series. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.